Joining me right now is Andersen Capital Management Chief Investment Officer, Peter Andersen. Peter, good to see you. Welcome. Thanks for being here. What are you expecting from the first quarter reporting season?
Well, I think our expectations for guidance are so depressed, plus the fact that I'm pretty certain the Fed is going to stop raising rates, that I think we're really setting the stage for a great recovery. I also think that results will be mostly beating expectations because they also have been very depressed.
Well, I mean, FactSet is expecting earnings to be down 6.8%. Are you not expecting a decline in earnings?
For some sectors, yes, but for others, no. I think, in fact, the technology sector is very strong and against all kinds of headwinds that we've seen in the past year. I mean, what a difference a year makes, Maria. Last year, we were all very upset and concerned about depressed earnings. But I do think certain technologies have such a blue sky ahead of them that I'm not at all concerned for the next 3-4 quarters, actually.
What is that blue sky? Tell me about the growth trajectory that you're expecting, because when you look at tech companies like the biggies, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, they are really the ones that are seeing the gains, contributing to this 15% year-to-date performance for the NASDAQ. It's quite narrow, right? The others within that index are not showing that kind of outperformance.
Good observation, and I would agree mostly, but there are always pockets. I mean, in medical care, for instance, there are certain companies out there, Shockwave Medical, for instance, that treats calcium deposits in arteries, that is having doubling earnings for the past 2 years. So if you really spend some time and look through all the noise, there are still some companies out there. That's a mid-cap company. And on top of that, let's just talk big cap for a second. NVIDIA is my top holding. It has been for a long time. And I think the newly focused issue of AI is just all about NVIDIA. And that's why it's one of my top holdings.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about artificial intelligence and, of course, companies like NVIDIA, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, all really digging into that area. And the Twitter CEO, Elon Musk, sat down exclusively with Fox News' Tucker Carlson last night, spoke all about these companies, and in particular, zeroed in on Google co-founder Larry Page and his approach. Watch what he said about that.
My perception was that Larry was not taking AI safety seriously enough. You know, and I agree with him that there's great potential for good, but there's also potential for bad. And then at one point, I said, "Well, what about, we're going to make sure humanity's okay here." And then he called me a speciesist.
So what about that, Peter? We know that the threat of AI is real as well, and the risk, but this is where the growth is. How do you invest in it? You're interested in investing in artificial intelligence.
Absolutely. I am a total optimist when it comes to this, Maria. And to be honest, I was a little bit disappointed with that interview. I thought Mr. Musk spent a lot of time sensationalizing the so-called fears of AI. And, if you look back at history, even when the telephone was first introduced, people were totally fearful about that, thinking their souls were going to be transferred through the communication lines. And I see history repeating itself. You can just replace AI with the telephone or the television from past history, and we are saying the same reaction. So I think that's very much overemphasized and really sensationalized. So if you accept that, and you accept that AI is here to stay, and we have to just go forward with this, NVIDIA is probably the best way to play all of AI, because its so-called GPUs play a critical role in all the technologies. I mean, ChatGPT uses over 30,000 of them, and there are 80 billion transistors in each one of them. So this is almost a pure play on AI, the closest you can get.
Yeah, and another pure play on chips, right? I mean, these are the two major issues going on right now within tech and chips, I would say national security. Both actually national security, AI as well. Peter, it's great to get your take on both of these things. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Peter Andersen joining us. Your morning move.